Listen, if y'all don't agree with anything that we've said or feel we don't know what we're talking about, that's okay, because
if you don't feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Motherfuck you!
All right, we're recording.
Recording?
It didn't say a little message this time. It didn't say this meeting is being recorded.
Did you cut it off?
No, I don't know why I didn't do that. That's weird.
Because that bitch knows better.
MCMI, people call me GMS.
Yo, what up? It's Wild Child.
I am LR Blitzkrieg. Happy to be here, guys.
I am LR Blitzkrieg. He's all cool and shit.
I am LR Suave.
Thanks for tuning in.
Suave Bola.
Suave Blitzkrieg.
When I was in high school, I had, there were a couple of women in my school, and they'd call me Rico Suave. And I hated it.
Gems, dropping gems on y'all.
Yeah, my friend.
That's because he was real. He was mad pretty when he was younger, man. You know, he was always getting looks from the ladies.
Back when I started high school, right? I didn't have locks yet, right? So my hair, you can see my hair was like kind of wavy. So there was like, she was like, "Hey, Rico."
I don't know how many fights I got in because of Rob, because they would call him Michael Jackson when he was little.
What?
Keith, come on, please.
You're going too
I was 5.
Like first grade or something. Like
yeah.
Yo.
You got in fights.
Call me Michael Jackson.
But just for the audience to know, like, Wild Child and Blitzkrieg are brothers, so they've known each other since.
Yes.
Come on, G, you're our brother too.
I know, but I've been rolling with these guys since elementary school, so we all known each other as little kids. We got mad stories and blackmail photos and stuff. Remember when we did this?
That Mexico shit.
This is an exciting show. Some of our peoples out there know us as HYDRA. And of course, we rock the MCMI flag.
And we spread the plague.
MCMIreport.com is the website for more information. And this is the MCMI Report. And I'm gonna run down all the topics right now. And
run them down, G. Run them down.
So this week we will be talking about the top stream rappers of 2021 so far. So January to April.
Yeah.
Kanye's documentary, Nas and ASAP Rocky got a new Netflix film called Monster. We'll give you a little info on that. Plague member, MCMI affiliate Substantial. He got a new song out on a video game. It's getting crazy, like 70 million streams so far.
Run it up.
We got,
that's crazy.
Prince. This is not hip hop, but a very influential figure to all of us is Prince.
Word.
Rest in peace. They got a Prince album coming out, so we're gonna talk about that a little.
Cool.
There's a new movie, Boogie.
Right.
Logic announced he's unretired. We'll mention that a little bit. And shout out. And our hearts go out to Black Rob, who's going through it in the hospital right now, and of course DMX, rest in peace, an iconic figure, a hip hop legend that we lost in the last week.
That really messed me up, man. That one right there. Seriously.
In the MCMI War Zone later on in the show, we're going to talk about the versus battles. And when we enter the war zone, we're going to talk about battle rap, versus, and maybe even, record beefs, battle records and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about like a little bit about the Ray and Ghost and the Red and Meth verses. Wu-Tang is heavy in the verses this month. It's funny.
They are.
They've been heavy all throughout, But anyway.
So, and we're also going to be highlighting some new music, just new music that came on our radar. It's just HYDRA, it's just GMS, Wild Child, Blitzkrieg's picks and things we want to talk about.
Word up.
It's coming out. We got some new Busta, Marv 1, Bad Seed, Orlando Brown.
What?
R-Rated Rugged Man dropped a dope mixtape joint. So we'll get into that a little bit. So let's pull up these top streams though. Okay.
Sure.
And
I'm looking at it right now.
You got it in front of you. So we're going to throw it on the screen. Now, who surprises you? Who is expected? Who you never even knew would be on this list? You know, let's go down. We got Drake at the top. Is that a surprise that he's the #1 streamed artist right now?
Not
for
at
the last
all.
4 months. Okay.
Not to me.
1.98 billion. So 2 billion, basically. Probably he had a few more streams since we recorded this. 2 billion.
Sure.
Just a few more.
1.98, like round it off.
Yeah, man. I mean, yo, like when I look at this, like it just makes me remember like what it was like to. It's such a different. It's just such a different beast now, right? We got streams as opposed to plays, as opposed to sales. You know what I mean? Right. It's like I can't even wrap my mind around that. Billions. Billions of streams.
There's still stats for sales. I mean, there's still CDs selling somewhere, and there's other types of metrics, but people really just care about streams now. That's the most important right now.
But you know, I mean, it's something that's quantifiable that we didn't have before. Like if you took your tape cassette or your CD and played it over and over again, we didn't know that you played it over and over again. There was no metric to
that's right.
to
That's
put a
true.
value to that.
Right.
But now I think it's a good thing that artists are able to, for the most part, make something off of every single time you play it. You know.
Same thing with YouTube. If you like a song and you rock it on YouTube 5 times, there's 5 views. It's not, and it's watch minutes. It's not just that you liked it or you click like on it.
Yeah.
So we got Drake at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Juice WRLD 1.52 billion.
Rest in peace, Juice WRLD.
Word.
Lil Baby 1.5 billion.
Okay.
Damn.
Another rest in peace. Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke. Rest in peace.
Too much people dying right now. 1.25 billion.
Indeed.
Lil Durk 1.06 billion.
Indeed.
DaBaby 816 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember when we first looked at this list, Blitz, you were surprised that DaBaby wasn't higher and Lil Baby lower. Like they,
a lot of the people on this list, right? A lot of the people on the list, I say most of them, I don't listen to their music, so I only can go by the times that I see them on, websites, or I see them on a video or whatever, and for me, I see more of DaBaby than I see Little Baby. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's just because DaBaby had stuff out. His album came out a little bit, a while ago, and Little Baby has something that's more current that he's on top. Maybe, right. Or maybe it's just I don't know what these young whippersnappers are listening to.
I don't have it. There's Tiny Baby. There's Crazy Baby. There's Baby.
baby.
There's Ooh Baby. So who else after Baby?
But
right?
An artist that we do listen to, I'm sure everyone else watching does, Kanye West. Now, people say at different times in Kanye's career he fell off. I want the old Kanye, or I don't like his new stuff and things like that. But right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's number 7 with 748 million streams. Now, remember, this is not one project or a song or a new album. This is just streams of these artists. Could be
for 2021.
Like Drake streams could be some stuff 10 years ago and today.
2021 is only 4 months old.
So let me ask you guys a question, because I'm older than all y'all, right? So when they talking about the streams, right? Are they talking about all their content?
They're talking about music that's on Spotify.
I don't know that from what this says. It says total streams, right? So total streams, we can be talking about all DSPs, which includes YouTube, which includes Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of those things, right?
Interesting.
So I wouldn't assume that this is just from Spotify. That's a big assumption to make. But I would include everything from YouTube.
Podcasts work. Count.
Right. And
the
entire
Joe
catalog.
Budden get on this if his podcast got enough streams to compete?
This is rappers. He's
I know he's a rapper and he has a podcast.
He was a rapper. He's been retired for a few years now, right? Okay. No, I think this is all about music. I don't think this is about a podcast.
But my question was, it's like the entire catalog, right?
It's just streams. Whatever Drake put out, it could be something. Yeah, like G said, from
Their
10 years
catalog.
ago. It doesn't matter how current it is.
Right, right, right.
This is not top albums of 2021. This is
Right,
top
right, right.
streamers.
Top streams, right? Okay. After Kanye, what we got?
We got Moneybagg Yo,
Yo!
644 million,
Right.
and MGK, 608 million, which
I don't understand.
you know,
He shouldn't be on this list. This
not because
rap
he
list, right?
didn't get streams, but is he doing rap? But are they streaming his old stuff and his new stuff? So that's why.
That's a good question. I don't know. He's from what I understand, because I haven't listened to any of it, right? That the music he's making now can't really be considered rap.
Right.
I don't know what it sounds like, but to see his name regardless, just like, I don't get it.
Yeah. I saw him perform on a show, interview shows, or maybe it was SNL, and it wasn't rap at all. It was a rock song. It was cool. He's doing a different kind of music. But for the majority of his career, he was a rapper.
Yeah.
He has more projects of hip hop than.
How long has he been around? Anybody know?
Yeah.
MGK's been around for a while. I mean, he signed to Bad Boy originally, I think maybe at least 10 years ago. I want to say it's been at least 10 years, if not a little bit longer.
I only heard of him
and I know
2 years ago.
I know he had mixtapes that were buzzing before he dropped the first official album, because I'd heard of him. It says here, it says major label debut, October 2012. It's called Lace Up.
Yeah, so that's 10 years. That's 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah. Who else, G? Who else we got?
So at the end of the list, number 10 is NF, and I admit that I do not know who that is.
Heard of you,
but he's got 586. He got 586 million. So
I listened to this kid, right?
You did?
Yeah, I did. He's from Michigan, right?
Okay.
And he gives me that. They gives me that Eminem vibe.
Really? Okay.
Is he white?
He's white dude, but his flow, and his subject matter. At least for this, it's kind of angsty and codeine and he's giving me that. He's that lane. He's in that lane.
You're real on point with saying that, because when I did a Google search and I typed his name, I got questions. Is Eminem related to NF? How much money is he worth? You get those big questions, and one of them is about Eminem. So
I think a lot of times when we talk about these rap lists, and yeah, you're going to have certain people that's always going to rise to the top, but I think a lot of times when you have somebody like an Eminem who is dope, but then you have somebody like an MGK or NF who again I never heard of, you wind up getting a lot more streams just because you don't look like the typical rapper, like you're a white guy or whatever. Of somebody that I might have expected to see on this list that's not on it and may be on it further down the line within the year is Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
He's pretty
got
dope.
bars though.
Yeah, he's pretty dope. Bars. He's pretty dope. but he gets you automatically get extra plays and extra streams. Even Eminem has said it, as a white rapper, right? So I would look to see him on this list later on. I would definitely look to see DMX on this list later on, because again, what happens with streams when you pass, right? We've got how many people on this list already that have passed? Juice WRLD is one, Pop Smoke is another.
Fred the Godson.
I mean, yeah, but I love Fred the Godson. I don't think he'd ever make this list. But like a Juice WRLD or a Pop Smoke, or maybe a couple years ago XXX. I'm sure his numbers like shot up when that happened. So those are two things that get you extra metrics, right? Is either being killed, murdered, or dying, and or being a white rapper. So when you look at the list, you have to like kind of in your brain balance that for yourself.
Kanye West, got this documentary he just sold.
Yeah, Kanye, he sold the rights to his life documentary to Netflix. Netflix is just like handing out checks. You got something? I'm going to put something together and pitch it to Netflix.
I got some. With a paper clip and a pack of Twizzlers.
Man.
And a bus pass.
Not, it's funny, like being a content creator or a director or somebody that makes movies or even documentaries right now. It's a great time to be in that space, right? Because there's so many different outlets vying for content. And all you got to do is pitch it to all of them and hope that one of them wants it. And
This
if
is true.
and if two of them wants it, well, now you got a bidding war, right?
There
So,
you go.
but
This is true.
at any rate, Kanye has given the rights to his lifelong, I guess, documentary to Netflix. I think the estimated number is $30 million,
Mm.
and he's been filming this for a really long time. He's had the couple people following him around for like over the past 2 decades.
This is
So
something that, this is like something that you're like, man, this guy is really, he's kind of smart.
oh,
He's kind of headed a,
listen, Kanye West, no matter how crazy he is, bipolar, any of those things, Kanye West is a genius. He's a genius. And the fact that he's been able to stay on top and still at the same time not, uh, you know, he genre bends, he does different, he experiments. Like, not a lot of people can experiment as much as Kanye has and still win, right? It's
mhm.
like, yo, you do this type of music, you do hardcore hip hop, you better keep doing hardcore hip hop. Kanye, you do sped up soul samples, you better keep doing that, or else we're
Yeah.
canceling you. And he
Right,
was
right.
able to go, pop, electro, synth. He was able, rock, gospel. He's done
Mhm.
all of these things, and people still rock with him. People
Yeah,
still listen
yeah.
to his
This is
music.
true. This is true.
I think he does lose a little piece of his core audience each time he does that, but he
Hmm.
gains a huge other audience. So
Yep.
like, yeah, maybe 20-30% of people who liked his original stuff are like, oh, I don't like this new lane you're going in.
Right.
So they start tweeting and posting about hating on his new music.
Right.
But then
So
he'll
then when
get like
people
100
say,
times that amount of new people that love it. And he
right,
does that 8 times. Now he's got 1,000 times more fans than he ever had.
yeah.
You you
So
know
when people say, I like the old Kanye, those people are talking about a specific, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Kanye.
So I think for sure, yeah. At any time he does these things, he loses fans and he also gains fans. But I think he loses more fans not for his experimentation of music, because I think that a lot of people accept him experimenting and they'll
Mhm.
listen to it and they'll either
Right,
say, I like this song, I don't like this song, or oh, this song reminds me of the old
right,
Kanye, but in his new form or whatever.
right.
I think he loses more fans because of his actions outside of
Yeah,
music.
his
You know,
antics. He's getting divorced.
yeah, yeah. They just there was at one point in time he was talking about, like, he told Kim, like, don't call me. You have to talk to me through my security. It got
Wow.
really heated for a minute, but I think that the last thing I read is they have accepted terms for joint custody of the kids, and they are on somewhat speaking terms. So
That's
Okay.
madness.
Yeah, got to keep it
Oh,
together for the kids, man. That's the
yeah, man.
yeah.
most
That's
important part.
madness. That's madness.
Crazy.
That's madness. So I think we got some verses coming up,
Okay.
Yep,
right?
yep, yep.
420, Method Man, Red Man,
Nice.
Method Red. How
Very
high?
appropriate. Very
How
appropriate.
high? And still holding my jewels.
You had to get that in there.
I gotta get it in here.
Shout,
Yo,
shout
man.
out to the new New York, marijuana laws.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I'm out here in Italy. We don't have that. We don't have it. We don't like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
make sure that you watch this whole video because we're going to go in depth about the verses in MCMI Warzone later. In hip hop news, Nas and ASAP Rocky have a project on Netflix. I think Nas is one of the producers along with Jeffrey Wright and John Legend.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
he's also in it as a character,
I don't
and ASAP
remember
Rocky
seeing
is
him in
starring
in a
in it.
trailer, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe
That's dope.
we'll take a
You know
look.
what I like about Nas, man? Like he stays busy regardless, right? And so, like, I remember he was the one who wrote the lyrics for the Get Down, the Netflix show
Ah, okay.
Get Down.
Mhm.
This dude, I respect this brother, man. He's got a crazy
Um,
hustle.
he just a couple days ago, because I was heavy into the cryptos and stocks and looking at what was going on. Coinbase, which went it had an IPO, went public on
Hmm.
Friday.
Right.
He got in early on that, and he made it's reported $100 million that his Queensbridge
Oh yeah.
his company just made $100 million off of Coinbase IPO going public. So that's dope.
Crazy. So the new show is called Monster. Wait,
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
film.
movie.
It's not a
It's a
series.
movie.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of series on Netflix. It's an actual film. It's called Monster. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, it came out in Sundance in 2018. I think it won a lot of awards. And Netflix just picked it up. I actually have the book here. It's based on this best-selling book.
Give it up for
Nice. He
Blitzkrieg.
reads.
He be reading. He be reading.
Yeah, this book is by Walter Dean Myers, and it tells the story of how this young black kid, he has one bad day for whatever reason. We don't know. I'm not gonna give it away or anything, but he gets put on trial for murder. And does he deserve to be there? Is his life experience the sum of that one bad day, or stuff like that? So
Was this based on anything like a true story, or is it fictitious?
no, it's fiction. But
Of course.
it's a story that has happened many, many times, right?
So Blitz, our homeboy has something coming out. Substantial.
Yeah, well, he always has something coming out, but he also just did a song for this video game. If you guys don't know, PUBG. PUBG is a video game, a mobile video game that is very much like Fortnite, right? Most people know Fortnite, and you may or may not know PUBG. I remember Keith, Kasim, and your son Kasim, and our sister's husband. They were always trying to get me to play this game when it first came out. I was like, I ain't playing that, right? But,
Stands for
anyway,
Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
yeah. So it's a like first person type shooter mobile game, and you get to run around and buy skins and whatever, blah blah blah. Y'all know what Fortnite is like, and I'm sure you probably know PUBG too. But Substantial did a song for the game, and they put it up on YouTube. It was produced by Obadiah Brown Beach, and the song in a month has over 70 million views, man. So shout out to him.
Shout out.
Y'all want to check that out.
Give it
The
up.
song is called The Growth. And
Yeah.
it's fire, of course, because our peoples are involved.
Yeah, that's our family right there. We have a crew called the Plague. He's he's part of the Plague. Has been part of our crew for a really long time, and he's a super dope artist. He makes a lot of lo-fi hip hop that does really well. He makes a lot of jazz hip hop that does really well.
Yeah, he came up with Nujabes, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Substantial. You can follow him at Substantial Music, and we'll throw it on the screen. And check out his website for more info. IamSubstantial.com.
Word up.
Now there's a new Prince album. What do you guys think of that? It's called Welcome to America with the number 2 in the middle.
Right.
It's not like they found some recently recorded stuff and they're putting it out. It's from 20 years ago, or I'm sorry, 10 or 11 years ago. This was recorded right before the 2010 tour of the same name. So he had a tour, Welcome to America, and he had recorded a project to release for that tour, but then he didn't release the project. I'm not sure why. And so it's just been sitting in a vault. Now, you may wonder if this is an official release. Is the family cool with this? Because, he had a lot of opinions about ownership of your rights as an artist, putting stuff out. So it is being released by his estate.
Right.
And, Blitz, you were telling me, but his estate is very complicated because there's some arguments in that. I don't know. But
yeah, I remember back when he passed, a lot of it was like who has the rights to his catalog, or who has the rights to be the executors of the things that he would or would not want. When he passed, him being a Jehovah Witness, he had a lot of different things that he would want and not want. I remember there was that story they were talking about. He was doing a song with somebody, or he flew somebody in to do a song with him, It was Morris Day. He had flew Morris Day in, and they thought they was just kicking it and stuff. And Morris Day was like, yeah, man, you know, if you want to work on something, whatever, cool, whatever, blah blah. And Prince was like, yeah, but I need you to convert to Jehovah Witness first. And then Morris Day was like, well, all right, I'm catching the next flight out of here, bro. I'm not converting to Jehovah Witness just to be on a song with you, you know. But anyway, and knowing that Prince didn't want a lot of, you know, hoopla and celebrations after he passed. Like he specifically said this, so he also may not have wanted for music to be put out if he wasn't in complete control of it, because we know that he was all about ownership and control of your own music catalog and destiny. Right. So it's, you know, it's like, yeah, do I want to hear it? Absolutely. But do I think that he would have wanted it out? I'm not so sure about that. And
and being fans of his, man, is like, you know, it's like, I want to, you know.
Right.
But
now it is out though. It was premiered on 60 Minutes last Sunday, and now I see it in stores because it says Prince Official. So there's lots of packages. You could buy the 2 LP, right? So you get the vinyls, plus 1 CD, plus Blu-ray with some extra stuff on it for like $100. Or you can just get the just one of those things, like just the Blu-rays, $12. Just the CD is $10. But there's lots of different packages. Just the vinyl. And it's a gold vinyl, so I don't know how that's going to look, but limited edition.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's exclusive limited edition. That's like $30.
Nice.
So they're definitely
That's dope.
Well, we're of course, we haven't been mentioning. We need to shout out some of our fam, because when we talk about stories, when Wild Child mentioned the Get Down earlier, like he didn't tell you that his sons were on that show. So shout out to them, Kasim and Khalil.
Yeah, shout out to Kasim and Khalil, the Juggernaut War Party.
Yes, they were in the Get Down, and also we have a connection to Prince. You could let them know, you know, your uncle.
Oh yeah, Peppy Willie. Shout out to Peppy Willie. He's got a book out called If You See Me. Yeah. Rod, you got that book laying around over there? Cause you be reading.
The book is in my living room. I don't have it right in front of me, but yeah.
We'll put up something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's got a book that's out now that talks about all his life from our great uncle Clarence Collins, who was Little Anthony and Imperials. They got hits like Tears on My Pillow, Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop. Peppy was his nephew, and he taught Peppy the ropes. And then Peppy married Chantel Nelson, and she was Prince's cousin. She introduced Peppy to Prince, and Prince at that time was like 14, 15 years old. Morris Day, Andre Simone, they was all in a band together, and kind of, you know, Peppy took them under his wing, got Prince's deal at Warner.
He mentored them. He played guitar on some of the, on some. They had some music together, you know.
They got a lot of music together.
And at some point, they got Prince a deal, and he took off to the moon.
Right.
That was cool,
yeah, man. to the moon.
And but yeah, so he had, but also Peppy Willie, you know, was instrumental in a lot of other things in the Minneapolis music scene, and has his own band, 94 East. Am I saying it right?
Yep.
Yeah, you get that right.
You know, this book is going to be real interesting.
Chock full of stuff in there.
I'm waiting for it to come in the mail.
Indeed.
So if you're into Prince, like, you know, 98% of the world is, definitely check out Peppy's book. Check out the new album that he has out, Welcome to America. Or don't check it out if you think that Prince wouldn't want you to check it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Put up a hashtag.
Right,
Prince wouldn't want me to listen to this. So there's a film that dropped last month. I didn't get a chance to see it. Well, you know, I guess COVID. I don't even know if it was in the theaters, but it's this film called Boogie, right? And it features Pop Smoke. I think this might have been his first time in the film.
I think it's probably his first and only.
And the star of that is Eddie Huang, right?
No, Eddie. Eddie's the producer. Okay. Yeah. I don't know the name of the protagonist, but it deals with Asian dude and his family, and he likes to play ball. He grows up in Queens, you know, and his family is like telling him, from what I'm seeing from the trailer, looks pretty interesting. His family, now you got to do this, you got to be a doctor, or you got to be a lawyer. You can't be like trying to get into the NBA, you know, that type thing. The underdog story.
Nice.
Pop Smoke is like, you know, getting on him. But reason why I shot this out is because he's got joints all up and down the soundtrack.
Right. I was about to ask you, does he have music on there too?
Yeah. It's like 6 joints on there.
So if you love Pop Smoke, you want to watch the movie, you want to check his music, this is great for him.
I mean, from the clips I saw, he looked like he was a pretty good actor, or that he could become a pretty good actor. You know, he could have been like, you know, like a Tupac with hip hop and music.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
Where a rapper that had formerly retired and came out of retirement is coming out.
Rod.
I guess he's doing a Jay-Z move, right? Logic. He has reemerged from his retirement again to surprise release his latest track, Tired in Malibu. Now, is it a track? I mean, the song is exactly 1 minute in length, but maybe he's gonna make a longer one later. Maybe this is a snippet. I don't know. It appeared on the rapper's YouTube channel alongside a photo of him and his son, Bobby. The song ends with the line, "Retired for a minute, but I guess I'm back, man." Hinting that he'll potentially be releasing more material, you know, in the future. And now the song is not even an original beat. He basically took Busta Rhymes, "Remains Raw," and is that song called "Everything Remains Raw"? I know the hook is "I make sure everything remains raw," but everything.
Wow, that's something, right?
But he's rhyming over that beat, so it's a 1 minute.
Everything remains raw. That's the name.
Okay,
everything.
It's a 1 minute verse over a Busta beat, and he's putting it up like it's a song. But you know, the point is, he's announcing, "I'm back." So if you are a Logic fan, you know you're gonna be looking forward to that.
I don't know.
I'm not
one Logic song actually. Not that I'm hating on him or anything like that, but I just, you know, he didn't get on my radar.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to some of his stuff. He is a lyricist, but his music is not. I don't particularly like his music all that much. It just doesn't.
Not your cup of tea. Not your cup of tea.
I will admit that I don't. His music doesn't come across my desk. Like when I've heard him on a radio show rhyming, I'm like, that kid is nice. He's got skills. I might have heard a verse or two.
I know I heard him on Sway.
And I knew he was good, like you said, but I don't know his songs. I can't even tell you if I like his songs.
Yeah.
I'd have to actually go search for it.
It's so interesting, the mix of what makes a good MC for each person, right? Because everybody's different. But it's like, is he lyrical? Sure. Personality wise, is it there for me? No. His energy, his vibe, right? How much does the vibe matter to you? Because there's so many people now, and I would think within hip hop in general right now, people care more about the vibe than they care about the lyrics. But for us, we care more about the lyrics than we do the vibe. But the vibe is still important, right?
Right.
So
that would be to complete what would be an MC.
Okay. Like,
you know what I mean? Like a well-rounded MC, like you can't just be a lyricist. You gotta have a vibe. You gotta be able to control the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Songwriting.
But being an MC doesn't matter to today's audience, right? Today's current audience.
This is true.
Just having a vibe, or having or being the word that we took out of our vocabulary, back in the early 2000s, real.
Oh, okay. I just want to say swag.
No.
Real.
I would never say swag, even if you made me say swag. But
hit the swag button, man.
We used to say, like, there were so many songs back, in the day, like keeping it real, like I'm real, blah blah, and we don't say that anymore. But it's important for today's audience, is like, he doesn't live that. He's not real. He's not about that life. And I don't care if you're about that life, if what you're saying sounds good, as long as it's not super negative. Because if it's super negative and you're not about that life, then I can't rock with it, right? If you're pretending that it's you, I think MCs can just be like, film writers and film producers. You can tell a story and it not be your story. But if you're acting like it's your story and it's super negative at the same time, then I can't rock with it.
here's one thing also, just to jump on that, the tail end of that. If you're telling the story, it's not your story, and somebody else wrote it, right? It's like these days people don't care.
Right.
Whereas in back in our heyday, we did. Like that was super important.
We didn't know at first, though. If you be honest, we didn't know who wrote back
right. I think we thought we cared, right? But a lot of times stuff was written for people and we didn't know that it was written for them.
That's because we didn't know.
Right. Or a group of people came together.
And it was, but see, but that's the thing. We didn't know, and it was presented as such. It was presented as authentic. This is from that person. And it was quiet if they had a ghostwriter. We never found out. But now people getting, pointed out and, exposed. And I'm like,
it's ironic that the very first few rap records that ever came out had these issues in it, and it still won't go away in 2020.
I mean, look, Sugar Hill Gang. Like,
right.
I mean,
well, yeah, that's just Hank, though.
Verse, right?
That's just Hank taking Kaz's verse. But
I mean, still, it's a third of one of the most influential.
You know all those records. Fine.
Yeah.
Like.
Right. That's true.
That's
true. But another thing, it wasn't like Hank said he wrote the rhyme. He never said he wrote the rhyme. He even says Kaz's, but he says Kaz's name. He
just rapped what was in front of him.
Yeah, I think he was reading off the paper and he just
rapped it.
He didn't think of it. I should put my name in there.
Yeah, let me call Kaz. Let me call Kaz and know.
I bet you, like 10 years later, he was like he heard it, or he was on stage and it just like the thought bubble popped in his head. And he's like, oh wait,
did I just spell his name?
Did I say C-A-Z?
I wonder what his reaction was the first time someone told him that. Like, you said Kaz's name, right? And I wonder how he felt that first time. It was years ago, I'm sure.
Yeah. But you're right, Rod. You're right about that.
I mean, for me, right? I think when we were younger, I think the thoughts and ideas or the code of ethics that we put on hip hop, right? Or
we were purists.
Yeah, it was a little. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous, right? As you grow, you evolve. Your thought patterns change, and I don't think that you're not an MC if someone writes some of your rhymes. If you are an MC and someone writes all of your rhymes, then you're not an MC. You're not
an MC. You're just a rapper, entertainer, performer. I'd like to see what people's thoughts are. Yeah, I'm saying I want to write us.
So the question for you guys out there is, if there's an artist and they have someone else writing their material, if they're a rapper, if they're an MC or a rapper, not like they're a singer or whatever, but does that take away from them being considered an MC or a full complete artist, or are they just a performer entertainer? And then there's a nuance here. There's artists like Blitzkrieg said that their entire stuff is written, like their whole career, someone else writes their stuff. And then there's artists who do write. They are a lyricist, we would say. They're a writer. But then when they got big and they're making albums, they might call in someone, give me some ideas for this verse, help me with this hook. Maybe occasionally they'll use someone else, someone else on their team will write them 8 bars in the middle of a song and they'll use it, but they write their other stuff. So does that matter? Is it like if anyone ever writes for anything for you, you're disqualified from the top MC's conversation, or is that okay? What do you guys thought?
It just does something to me. It's just like, it just does something to me because I really feel like we grew up with hip hop, like just like the culture, like when it was just started, and we grew up when we watched it. It was like hand in hand. We was there. You know what I mean? It was like, and the people we came up with and us being lyricists as well, it was like you had to pen your own stuff.
Didn't want anyone to write for us. That was our personal thing as an artist. Like,
for sure.
It would be an insult. Like if you were like, gee, I wrote this dope stuff, but from your perspective, why don't you kick this rhyme? Like, no, are you crazy? No, we have to write our own stuff no matter what. And I still feel we feel that to this day. None of us really want to and you
No,
know,
I'm not taking a verse from nobody. If
right,
somebody writes me, if somebody writes me a dope hook, I'm going to use it for sure.
right,
But it's like it's different now. There are still rules to me. Like don't battle me with somebody else's words, right?
Mhm.
But there's also the thing like what is a freestyle, right? There's there's that whole thing. Like we could
Right,
say
right.
freestyle is like you just thought of it off the head while impromptu, and then other people say a freestyle is just like a written verse that has nothing to do with nothing. It's just you just like
Well,
kicking rhymes or whatever.
that
I
was
don't want to
that
get into
was
that one.
that was us saying off the top, right?
Yeah,
But the people before us was like, no, freestyle is
it's just a written rhyme that's not in a
that
song.
hasn't been released
right.
yet.
Yeah,
And I think they should call that free verse, because in other song genres, they call something writing free verse, meaning that it doesn't have a song concept. It's like you're
yep,
just topically going anywhere,
yep.
right?
Right.
So I think that when people started saying freestyle and meaning that, I think they were saying that, and then it got
Yeah, yeah.
known as freestyle. And then there was a different culture of people who were improvising off the top, and they were calling their thing freestyle. And so they just got mad at each other and argue about what a real freestyle is, but it's just
Look,
that you had a different definition of the word. And so
When
is
we move
it,
forward, yeah, Rod, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
When
I'm
we
sorry.
move forward, does it do you think that the culture is becoming diluted, or are we just evolving and we don't care? Or is it like, you know, because I'm thinking culture and I'm thinking corporation. Is it
okay.
the corporation that's making it so that we don't care anymore? Because it's a
I
multi-billion dollar
no,
About
business
these
now.
issues, care
but
about like freestyle and writing and stuff.
Well, look, we brought up like what's the definition of an MC? Do you
Right,
care
right.
if somebody writes your rhymes? Do stuff like that? Just like
the, the,
is it yeah, what's the answer?
I don't think that I think us as artists, right? We decide what is allowable and not allowable to an extent. Obviously, if the fans who are a bigger base of people than the artists are don't care, then it doesn't matter what we think, right?
Mm.
Because they're the consumer. I don't, and when I say consumer, I'm not saying the people that buy it. I'm saying the people that listen to it, the people that consume the music, right? And if they don't care, then it doesn't matter what we think, because the next artist that wants to get a ghostwriter and put out music and say, yeah, I got a ghostwriter, as long as the people like the music, it doesn't matter. You
But what
take
if that person? I mean, but what if you got two hot artists and one writes their own material and the
right.
other, you know what I mean? So
That doesn't
Right.
make a difference to me to anymore, right? Do I feel better about myself because I write all my own stuff? Absolutely. But it does, but again, on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Brown skinned girl, right, is a huge song, and it's about brown skinned girls. Beyonce is a brown skinned girl, but a
mhm,
black man, St. John, wrote that song. Is she less of a singer
mhm.
because St. John wrote that song for her? No,
Mm.
she
Right,
performed it, she put it out, she gave it the feeling and the effort that made
right.
it, rise to the top.
Mhm.
So who
And
cares who wrote it
but
at the end of the day?
she's not competing for MC title or best lyricist. She's just as an artist performing music that she
I can see
relates to.
that working for like,
So it's
yeah,
different.
G. I can see that working for like that genre,
Right.
or even like
We say
jazz
we
or
say
rock
any
and
genre
roll,
except hip hop. Yeah.
Right. So
except
the
hip
question,
hop.
so another question there, and you guys can let us know what your thoughts about this. Is hip hop and rap music wrong for even having our own rules like this and getting, we have so many things that we do that all the other genres don't do. And sometimes it's detrimental. We're the only ones that get into beefs and then drive by people's house and try to shoot them and then, take it to the physical, go to their shows instead of just on
Right.
lyrics. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then we have
Yeah,
these things about you have to write, or if you didn't write your own verse, you're not real. If you didn't
right,
grow up and live every single thing you said in your thing, you're not real. Oh, you never had that happen to you, you're not allowed to rap about that. Whereas
Yeah.
another artist can make a song about anything and just represent it, right?
what
Right.
I'd
So
like to
are we
see,
wrong for doing that in hip hop?
I
Should
think
we
right,
open
I
up our
think a lot of
genre?
that I think a lot of that is wrong. I do. But go ahead, Keith.
I would like to see us as the culture, the hip hop culture,
Mhm.
get behind and support the artists like rock and roll does with their artists, right? So like for instance, we got like the Who or Billy Joel can go anywhere on the globe, sell out a stadium by themselves, right?
Sure.
Is that
And
our
it's like
support or the labels and
and
industry?
and but the audience will be, not gender or age specific. It's all this various and
True.
people supporting, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that in hip hop. We
We
don't
don't have
have
it
that
as
in hip hop.
much. I think we have it a little bit, but we're not as strong on that.
We don't. I
There's
mean,
old school hip hop. There's radio stations that play classic
I'm
records.
just saying, like
Occasionally a big show
we
where
got
they
a
have.
dog, we got a one-upmanship, a dog eat dog, and at first it started out as, it was like all in fun, but then it became, this
See,
thing.
yeah, see, but that you're talking about the artist, right? And then you're talking about the
Machine.
the consumer buying tickets to a show for an artist that is a legacy act, right? Let's say, somebody that's older that can fill an arena, or
Hmm.
should be able to fill an arena, right?
Right.
So the dog eat dog thing is between us. That has nothing to do with the consumer, or at least it shouldn't, right? But I
But we
think,
set the precedence, though.
but see, the problem is, right, that
Hmm.
the rules that we make within hip hop then bleed onto the consumer, and they think that they need to do and feel and act the same way as the artists act. They can't just be a consumer. They also have to live by the rules and in the stuff that these artists claim that they live by, right? So
I'm seeing that because we act like that as artists, right?
Hmm.
That affects the consumer.
that's exactly what I just said. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I
Is that
think
what you
that
say?
I think that it's possible that the reason why hip hop got into that became the reason why it developed that way is because it came from MCing. And when there was no records out and a DJ would play a hot record, I think one of the ones like Heartbeat or Love is the Message, and they would, oh, I want to rhyme on this beat. Cats would want to rhyme and would go to the DJ booth, and then they would want to out rhyme each other. And then the idea of being the dopest MC, being better than everyone, battling. And so therefore, when a new MC is a dope guy known in the neighborhood or in the
Mhm.
party, they've taken out the guy who was the top guy before. Now they're the top.
Right.
And then when we
It
put out
started with the
records,
DJ
we did
though,
the
but it
same
started with
thing.
the DJ.
But each group also would release records and
Y'all are
try to
going too far.
dominate with that record. So I think maybe the culture of hip hop
Nah, y'all are going way too
led
far back. Look,
led to
yes,
later artists always wanting to one up each other and take each other out.
hip hop is the only genre of music that's also a sport, right? It's a to us, it's a sport. To younger people, yeah, do they want to be better than the other person? Yeah, but it's not as important as it was to us to be, to actually have those battles, or to
The competitiveness.
yeah, the total competitiveness of one up in each other, right? So we
Mhm.
have that thing. Then we also have the fact that every other music was allowed to grow in a different way than hip hop was allowed to, because it was a boom. It exploded so fast that the consumerism came in and started eating up the artistry, right? So now you have every label that's saying, yo, we got to get the young guys. We got to get the young guys. One, because they don't know no better. We can, screw them in their contracts. And two, most consumers of music are young people, right? So we want to get people that are like the people that are going to consume the music. But at the same time, we have the fact that hip hop hasn't died, right? It
Mhm.
continues to go on. So the audience continues to go on and continue to grow. And because of that, I think we're getting to a point where older acts, like we have Jay-Z's 50 years old, but he can still sell out any arena. When Drake is 50 years old, I'm sure he'll be able to sell out any arena. Our huge acts,
Mhm.
Nas. I went to see Nas at Shea Stadium, right?
Mhm.
Watching Nas show at Shea Stadium, and then 2 days later, I went to go see Jay Z and Justin Timberlake at Yankee Stadium.
Mhm.
Smashed it out, and they did this like for nights and nights on end.
Mhm.
So our huge acts are absolutely able to do that, The smaller acts, well, you just have to go, overseas and do it there because they'll still accept it. Master Ace can still go overseas and pack, huge spaces. Maybe not a full arena, but he can do. They do him and Marco Polo. They do big shows out there.
Shout outs to Marco Polo. Shout outs to Marco Polo.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Master Ace too.
Shout out to Master Ace.
But yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, that it doesn't seem like there's enough of an ability for our older acts to do as much as they should be able to do. But
because that's going to set precedents for the younger acts when they get older.
Right.
Well, look, every couple years, everything changes, right? Because now there was a time we have the great thing about us. We have a DMX who has a catalog of 5, 6, 7, 8 albums, right? We have Jay-Z that has tons of albums. We have all these people that have tons of albums, but a lot of these newer acts are not going to have that because it's a single-driven market now, right? Ringtone rappers are not really able to go out and sell out stuff because at that point in time, they was like, oh, we got to sell these ringtones. And it's the same thing. It's very similar to now where it's like, yo, we got to sell a single. Forget about making a catalog of music.
Right.
Well, don't forget technology changes also. Like now that we have the streaming, that may start to change because now in the last 3-4 years, streaming is a very important metric. And streaming doesn't have to do with your latest hit that's been out for a month and then got old, or that one album that just went gold or platinum, but then you don't have a follow-up. It can be lots of different things all added together. So maybe that'll change it a little, and there's going to be more changes in the next 5 years. Let's talk about DMX a little bit because he just passed away recently. It's very tragic. It's an emotional roller coaster for the hip-hop community, for the fans, for his family. First, he was announced dead prematurely. He was, in a coma in the hospital. I think it was like a Thursday, or it was either Wednesday or Thursday, but there was a rumor and it was being tweeted. And then the family lawyer actually made a statement and said, no, he's still hanging on. We did not pull the plug. Don't say he's dead right now. And then 10 hours later, literally, they were like, okay, now he's
no, what happened was he went into the hospital. Everybody said he went into the hospital and he was on assisted breathing, right? And then the lawyer came out and said he's not on assisted breathing anymore. He's breathing on his own. So everybody got hyped because they thought that he was going to pull through. Right. And then, they recanted that. And then, I think a day or two later, they, announced that he didn't have any new brain function and he actually, passed away.
Right.
Okay. So,
yes.
There's a lot to unpack here. There is new music tied to this. There is a documentary that's coming out. There's a lot of DMX things happening, but condolences to his family, condolences to, everyone who knew him and was friends with him. And then, of course, the fans of his music and his movies are, mourning him. His streams went up really high. You were telling me that, Keith.
Right. I got that from Rod. Rod was like 900%.
For sure. I think it was over. It was almost 1,000%. It was like 960 something percent. His streams had went up since his passing, which as long as he owns some of his publishing, and I would definitely hope that because with that, a lot of that money is going to his family because he had a huge family. I think he had like 15 kids. So there was that rumor about Jay-Z buying his publishing and selling
Jay and Beyonce together.
Yeah.
Or something, right?
Yeah, but
that's not true, right?
No, it's not.
Is it true?
Okay.
Not true.
Now,
that's
at least
unfortunate.
at least not yet. Who knows?
Right.
Another rumor that I think is true is that Def Jam has a completed DMX album. That's also a rumor, but
I don't know if would it be Def Jam because his last couple albums weren't on Def Jam, right? Is it saying Def Jam is?
That's what the rumor is, but maybe that part's wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that part.
Well,
wrong.
I know him and Swizz have been working on music for at least a year now. Because I remember when Swizz was talking about me and X are back in the studio, and there was
I saw some footage.
Right.
I think that's what they're referring to. So it's not like, oh, he was in the middle of a few things here and there, and then we're just going to grab everything that's usable and put it together. I think like they really had been working on a project. So that would have come out soon. So when it's either almost or was completed. So now they
Right.
just got to decide what to do with it.
Hey,
market it, mix it.
here's a thing that I just thought of, right? When X helped birth Versus, right? Because if you think about it, the first battle, right? The first battle before Versus was a machine was Swizz versus Just Blaze, right?
Oh, is
Do you
it
remember that?
was it Swizz versus Blaze or Swizz versus Timberland?
No, it was Swizz versus Just Blaze.
Okay.
It was Just
Was
Blaze.
Timberland the second one? Because those were close.
I don't remember Swizz battling Timberland. Was that one?
Somebody battled Timberland. I remember his name being in there.
I thought it was Swizz and Timberland.
No, listen, this is before it was even called Versus.
Okay.
They had been talking on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and it was like, yo, I'll battle you, whatever. So there's a video. You can find the video. And the way that Swizz supposedly won this battle is because he pulled out a song that was, I think, Jay-Z, Jadakiss, somebody else, and DMX. And no one had heard this song before. And Swizz played it, and it was fire, right? And also people hadn't heard DMX in a while, and it was like, yo, that's crazy, right? So that song helped not only solidify that battle, but to blow it up to a point where I think Swizz got the spark in his head, like, yo, we can make this into something like more. And and then Versus, Timberland and Swizz got together, and then Versus were birthed, and now we are where we are with it. And they did a deal with Apple. Now they have to deal with Trilla, and So
I'm a little confused because I looked at Wikipedia, and that's contributed to, and it can be wrong.
Sure.
They have Timberland and Swiss Beats as creating Versus.
Yes.
And as the producers of Versus TV.
Yes.
So maybe Timberland was the first one.
No, I'm telling you, it was Swizz and Just Blaze. I'm not talking about a Versus battle. I'm talking about they had a battle before they made Versus.
Okay.
And then that made Swizz and Timberland think to make Versus.
Okay. Cool.
Ooh. So we got.
There's definitely a HBO documentary in the works. When that would come out, we don't know, but they already had been working on it for years and years. Of course, it's a documentary. They didn't just say like, oh, DMX passed away, let's make a documentary. Like, they were working on this. So now, that's going to be worked on. We'll see when that comes out.
Word up.
So what else? I mean, what else do you guys feel, or were you feeling when you got the news that DMX had passed?
I was hurt. I didn't. I got to work with him on the TV show. I wasn't hurt because of. I was hurt because he reminded me of, certain people in my life that were around me that were super talented, and you want them to win, but they just keep,
struggling.
They got this internal thing that they just cannot shake, no matter, and they're good people. You know what I mean? It's just that they just can't, and there's so many people, that I know that's like that. I understood what he was going through them, and through my experience through them, and so I was really hurt. His joint my favorite joint of his is his first one is the Get At Me Dog. I'm in the gym. My dog's at. But yeah, man.
Yeah, he had a lot of joints, man. X was dope, and he had his own style, which was another thing that made him really dope at the point in time that he came out, because it was something really refreshing and brand new. And then there were people that imitated his style or borrowed from his style after that, but he was
His style is interesting because it's kind of like conversational, you know, like a lot of rappers have one tone and we call them monotone delivery, right? The monotone rappers. So everything is in the same level, cadence, same notes that you choose, and you just kind of, and I guess they want to focus on the words, you know, focus on the lyrics, the punchlines, the things I'm saying. But he was like, if you don't do this, you know, he's like going up, going down.
Yeah.
You know,
His
he'll be
inflections
super
was
quiet.
like,
He'll be like, get up. He'll be a little loud, and then he'll be like, really soft, you know? So
but you heard every
storytelling.
word.
That's what the word I'm trying to look for.
Yeah.
Storytelling.
You heard every word about him, man. You heard every word that he said, man.
What's interesting to me, you know, I always think about this. Did his rhyme style influence the way he talked, or does the way he just talks, you know, totally dictate his rhyme style? Because you could think that, yo, this is how I rhyme, right? And then it works so well. This is just me all the time now, right? This is how I'm going to talk. But maybe he just talked like that his entire life, and he just rapped how he talked. He just rapped like he, you know what I'm saying? Because he really did talk like that. He rapped the same way.
Yeah. It's you know, you're right, G. It's like conversational, right?
It's inflection. It's telling a story.
Yeah.
It's not just saying the word, but changing the emotion and the volume and how you're saying it. You know, like a good storyteller, like when someone's doing a voice, you know, audio book or reading a story, you know, they get into it. He went in the booth and delivered like that. He told the story.
Yeah.
So that's why I had a lot of emotional impact, and that's why he stood out. And there's other artists that do that, and they have a different way of doing it too. But you know, when he did that, like, you can instantly know who you're listening to as well.
Yeah, exactly. Signature style, voice, you know, presence, flow. You know, he was an MC.
Yeah.
You know.
Now Russell Simmons says that DMX saved Def Jam.
Yeah.
And he now feels bad, like he could have done better for him as an artist. Not sure if he means like I could have given him a better record deal and more money, or I could have supported him in some other way. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, some type of guidance, or I don't know. I know I watched him drop a little video talking about how X came home. Maybe he was in rehab, or maybe he was in jail, or whatever. But he directly from wherever he was institutionalized to where Russell needed him to be to talk to some gang members, you know, to quell the situation. And he, you know, without missing a beat, you know, he was there. And what did Swiss say? Swiss said, DMX lived his life for us, for people. You know what I mean? And that's what I got from him when we did that third watch. Just like behind the scenes. Rod, you came G, did you come too?
I didn't come, no.
Yeah, so that's what I got.
Though.
Yeah, that's what I got from him. Just like, you know, and the way he talked to people, and he did speak that way, you know. And
his short,
you know,
statements.
Yeah.
Pauses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can hear him when you hear him on interviews or on a talk show or something. You know, you can hear you can just totally hear his rhyme style in his spoken voice. Now, Black Rob, who was also around, you know, really.
Yeah, I saw that video.
He's currently sick and he's hospitalized. He's not life support or nothing. He's fine. Oh, he's out now.
Of the hospital. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't even know what was up with him. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't say what he had.
I know he's had like a series of strokes. Like he's had like 4 in like 5 years, or 5 in 4 years. Yeah, 5 in 4 years. Something like that. So he's not too healthy. But he, you know, he gave DMX a shout out, you know. I remember, whoa.
But before we even talk about that, Wild Child, you were telling us about Styles P and the Hip Hop Union. I found that very interesting.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna do it, but I you know, I read somewhere where Styles was like, yo, this just can't be. Like, we need to start some type of union so that, you know, our artists, our comrades are taken care of, you know, or, you know, and that's interesting.
Representation.
Healthcare, some representation.
Great other careers.
Advocates. You know, it's like, you know, and Rod was mentioning how it's, you know, the corporations go after the young artists so they can, attract the younger
it's the same thing
demographic.
as gangs, right? Like,
Right.
gangs, your shooter or your young boy, right, is who you send to go do the dirt because one, they'll get less jail time than you would, and two, they don't know no better and they're just trying to be down, right? So you go
How you
after
know
the
about the gang culture?
so you go so you go after the the young kids
Allegedly.
because they're naive and because they want something or they need something, and it's easier to get them to acquiesce or to do what you want without them doing their due diligence and getting a good lawyer, or they just don't have the information and the knowledge
Right.
to make
Right.
sure that they put themselves in the right place. And if they don't, well, there's another kid down the block who's young and stupid, and I'll go get him instead.
Right.
So how does that relate to the union, the hip hop union, Rod? Because you were bringing that in.
Well, if there was a hip hop, if there was some type of union in place, right, and you're automatically in that union, then now you have the resources to go to them as soon as you get a record deal. If you go to a job, if you go to a city job, right, and you're automatically in the union, and if you feel like your employer is doing something wrong by you, or or you they're not making sure that your health care needs are taken care of or whatever,
Right.
you can go to your union and find out what's what. And they'll advocate for you and they'll fight for you and they'll make sure that everything is good where you're at.
Right.
That would be the same thing with a hip hop union. They would make sure.
Yeah.
One, I think the main thing, right? Not your lawyer, not making sure that your deal is right, any of that. I think it's all about health, right? Because when you get a deal, you don't have health care.
Right. You're independent.
Right, you're not making there's no one there, there's no structure in place to make sure that you're taken care of or that you're healthy. And the label should want this too, right? Because a healthy artist can do more. Or maybe
Have
they
a
don't.
longer career.
Yeah, but maybe they don't. Maybe they want you to be drugged up because they feel like you make your best music when you're on lean or when you're smoking or when you're doing this, that, or the other. You're just you're a commodity to be used up, and then once you're used
Discarded.
up, once you're used up, then they'll find a new battery to to
Yeah.
drain.
Yeah.
So it's up to us as individuals to make sure that who's making sure that I have some type of 401k in place, who's making sure that I have money, because every artist thinks, yo, I'm gonna make this album and then the next album's gonna go platinum, then the album after that's gonna go platinum. What if you're a one hit wonder, right? So you should so every song that you make or every deal that you make, you should be taking a percentage of that and putting it away or investing it in some way so that you know that there is something afterwards. If
Right.
if Allen Iverson didn't have that friend that took the money from that Reebok deal and said that he can't touch this until after he turns 50, Allen Iverson would be in the same place that Black Rob is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because somebody made sure that the money was put away.
okay.
There was something put away so that he would be able to bounce back after you blew all your money because you're young and you're stupid and you want to buy this car and live in this house and fly on this private jet for
Right.
what?
Right. So I mean, there's unions for like actors, right?
Hmm.
That do that.
It was for the same reason, because actors didn't have a retirement,
Exactly.
didn't have health care, and they didn't
Exactly.
get paid an even amount.
Exactly.
It was just like whatever they could get over on
Exactly.
sometimes. So they created the union, the actors union, right? Actors
Right.
Guild.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
It,
Right.
I think it's all up to the gatekeepers, right? The people that have gotten to the place where they have 400, 500, $1 billion to put something in place where the artists are now buying into a union. You have to
Right.
buy in. You have to pay dues, right? Every artist has to pay dues, whether you're a small artist or a big artist.
Right.
You
I
pay.
wonder if we can connect, like, so Styles was vocal about it, and I think people who can make that happen, people like Will Smith,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, Diddy,
like
Jay-Z,
Diddy,
there's
Jigga.
Plenty
there's
of
tons of
successful enough
artists.
people that could do
Yeah,
this.
and not just artists, right?
The
You
problem
could
is
you could
those artists aren't the ones who need it, and so it might not be high on their priority.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That like Rod was talking about, like somebody who up in the higher echelon, in the game who could like help.
Or even the corporations, right? Like a Spotify who wants to always, make themselves feel like they're for the artist, right? These streaming services that allow you to go direct to consumer without a label, or even an independent artist or a distributor like an Empire or like a United Masters. They want the artist to feel like they're for the artist. You don't need a record label to make it. You can do this all on your own. Yeah, well, help us put this
provide
in
those other
place.
supports.
Provide those things, and then we'll be like, yeah, you're absolutely right now, because I don't need the label. If I did have the label, at least I'd have some more money to back me up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm doing it on my own, I don't have that initial capital, that what do you call the advance? I don't have that advance to start me off. So at least I can go get a checkup or go to the dentist and get my teeth fixed or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Preach, brother. Preach, brother. What's that on your arm? What's that on your arm, my brother? What's that on your arm?
What this?
Yeah, what's that on your arm right there?
MCMI.
Of course, Black Rob's biggest hit was Whoa. Everybody freestyled over that beat back in the day. That was like his craziest anthem, right? That's the party shopper. So what are the DMX songs?
I'm be interested. I want to see what people write in. All right. For me, it was Get At Me, dog.
Yeah. For you, was Get At Me, dog.
Yeah. For me, was that
Money, Power, and Respect, if you count that.
4, 3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2, 1. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not his song, right?
But
that's not his joint, but he did a Busta Rhymes on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will say Stop Drop.
Oh,
right? That's the Rough Riders joint.
Rough Riders anthem, yeah.
I'm a teacher. I remember the kids. That was a big one that they all knew at the time in that era.
Did y'all watch the Rough Riders Chronicles?
Nah, I never saw that.
What's it on? What platform?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
I've seen it on YouTube. Is it
recent or is it from a while ago?
It's pretty recent. I mean, there's a few months, at least a few months.
Yeah. Like at least like December.
Okay. Let's watch it and let's talk about it on another MC.
Yeah.
But right now, it's time for new music.
Oh shoot!
All right, so let's talk about some new heat that came out.
I need a soundboard. I gotta get my soundboard.
I'm gonna set it off with a veteran who's been in the game for so many years.
Yeah, give it up for the cause.
Still keeping up, doing it. And relevant, which is Busta Rhymes. He has a lot of stuff coming out. So the first thing is, he just dropped a video for the joint with Mariah Carey, right, which is on ELE2.
Yeah. And, shout out to Mr. Mech, who A&R'd on that, and he's also a member of our crew, The Plague. We're gonna be shouting The Plague out every chance we get, because our people are doing big things. So shout out to Mr. Mech, shout out to Busta.
And we're gonna get some of these people up here sometimes, co-host with us. But getting back to the joint. So what's really ill about the Mariah Carey video is Busta did a song on Mariah Carey years ago, right? I think Where I Belong, is that
no? Give it to me, right?
One. Baby, won't you give it to me?
Right,
I'll give it to you. You know I got it.
So they took the video, and it's like 20 years later, and they're picking up from where that one left off, and they actually throw in at the end. I was like, what's that picture of Busta Rhymes skinny with dreads? And Blitz was like, that's from the original video. Like they're tying it together. And then I realized,
they even got Michael Jai White in there.
Yep,
right.
And even the same girl that was in the original video.
And then I realized the whole concept is picking up from that video. So that's kind of ill.
Now that was super dope. And they even did the because in that video it kind of has like these comic montages or drops where like it turns to like a black and white drawing, and then they did the same thing in this video. So it's really cool how they bookend the whole thing.
And shout out to that whole project, because Busta Rhymes went into his bag for this album. He wanted to redo Extinction Level Event. I'm going to do a follow-up to it, kind of like Raekwon did Cuban Links too, and other people take their most classic album and bring it back. So he actually used a beat or two from like 1999, 2000, like that they were working on for the original ELE, and then he finally was like, well, I'm gonna put that one on there.
Right. I remember he was talking about how he sat on that joint that he had with Kendrick.
The Kendrick joint, yeah, it was pretty.
The Look Over My Shoulder. He had that for a long time. He said,
yeah.
I don't know if it was that long, G, but he had it for
10 years. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that long. I mean, Kendrick hasn't been around that long.
No. But
he had that beat. He kept not using that beat.
Oh yeah.
And then he finally was like, "I'm gonna put it on this."
Shout out to Knots. Shout out to Knots.
Also, that beat, the intro beat that Knots did on there was on, on his hard drive for a really long time.
Actually, the intro was for the original Extinction Level event. It didn't make the album. Like that was a beat from that thing.
Crazy.
That's how old that is. And that's great because it kind of sonically tied it together. The other tracks are newer, but it set the tone as an intro. Like that, when you hear it, you're like, this really feels like ELE, but the rhymes are new and everything.
Yeah, the vibe. Like to get that vibe back is a thing. Like you get that, I feel like I'm getting that same feeling because it's about, right? Like putting you back in that place of that feeling that you had when you heard ELE, and then you hear this and you're like, I got that feeling again, like it's about to be on. Shout out to Knots for being able to make beats that are so timeless,
sustainable. Yo, and signature.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Signature. Shout out to Knots.
And the shelf life, because he can.
Shout out to the Sixers.
He can be like, I'm going to give you these 2 songs. This one, I made this track 20 years ago, and I just made this one. And these are the 2 records we're producing, and they both are equally. The older one is not.
He's a machine, man. That man.
He is a machine.
Like
He's
so
a machine.
many beats.
So that's not brand new, that album, but that album came out a little while ago. But that video just dropped with Mariah Carey. They also a few months ago dropped a remix video to Czar that has MOP's verses on it. The video is okay, but if you're an MOP fan, you want to hear that version.
Crazy.
Now, Redman and Busta just recently had joined Phife, R.I.P. Shout out to Phife, Tribe Called Quest, on a song called Nutshell, which was a Phife joint, and then they got on to part 2.
Which is dope. And Redman went last.
And is that a Dilla joint?
Yeah, it was Dilla. It was Dilla.
Dilla did Nutshell? Yeah,
wow. I think so. So correct me if I'm wrong. Type it in.
Right, because
tell us we don't know what we're talking about in the comments.
You know they'll correct you.
Man, you don't know what you talk about.
Yeah.
And then before we get on to even more music, Busta just dropped an old joint. Tell him about it.
He's got like his 25th year anniversary of They're Coming.
That's a debut album.
Yo, man, Jay Dilla is all over that album. The Uma is all over that album. Busta did even produced on that album. That's like definitely one of my favorite Busta albums. When y'all remember when it came out, How I Lost My Mind.
Of course.
Yeah.
So the song, you got Hoo Ha, you got
I Lost My
Hands
Mind.
Where My Eyes Can See.
Everything
right?
Remains Raw. Oh, that was the next album.
That was the next one. Okay, but Hoo Ha is on that one.
Hoo Ha is on that. Everything Remains Raw is on that. Oh, right. Flip Mode meets Def Squad
is on there.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's one of our favorite tracks of all time.
Shout out to Lord Have Mercy.
Yes, shout out to the
For
land,
now
Lord.
and forever, it's my evil that men do.
Shout out to Marley G. Everybody killed that track. Don't sleep on.
Oh, Marley G. I love that verse.
He had like 64 bars.
You can get with this lyricist terrorist in your eras.
Yeah. Shout out to Marley G.
Yeah.
We're getting our old.
Yeah, who was on that? Busta, Redman.
Yeah.
Keith Murray.
Yeah.
Rampage.
Lord Have.
Marley G.
Yeah. 6 of them. That's a classic.
Fire.
And that's a Knots beat as well?
No.
Am I wrong? No. Who made that track?
Nah, that could have been Scratch.
Who made that track?
That might have been Scratch. Shout out to Scratch, who's another.
Shout out to DJ Scratch.
Somebody, we don't have like a research team on the sides, so somebody in the comments throw up who produced.
Hey, look, man, we just 3 dudes talking. Sometimes we get shit wrong. Sorry.
And welcome to our first show. Welcome to our first episode.
What other new music we talk about this week?
Oh man, I wanted to talk about
Midwest
101. 101 is a group that consists of my homie Marv One, that I met through PH, Ron Dance, and Rose Spit.
Rest in peace.
They put up PH. He's behind me right now. He's part of the team.
He's always there.
They put out an album called, I think, Sooner Than Later. Oh no, that's his other. It's Whatever Happens Happens.
Okay.
Right. And it's a dope album. These are three veteran MCs from Detroit. You know, they're all solo artists. Of course, Marv is one of the Fat Killers. You know, Marv has been on multiple things. You know, he rhymes with Royce, M. He was in 8 Mile, right? Or
yeah.
But Marv, he's a battle rapper. He just did a huge battle on KOTD for like 50 grand or something like that. I remember when they had those brackets up. He was one of the finalists in that, one of the 2 finalists. But Marv 1 is super dope. He put out a album himself called Sooner Than Later, I think back in December. It was probably the end of 2020. And then they just came out with the 101 album. They got some dope videos for that. I know they got a joint called 30 for 30. They got this other video, For Show. Dope stuff, man.
You were saying that one of your favorite tracks produced by himself was GTF OTW. What's the TW stand for? I know what
Get the fuck out the way.
The way. Okay,
yeah,
I was like,
it goes get the fuck out the way. Yo, listen to that joint, kid. That joint is fire.
And he produced it. He made
well, for his album, his solo album, the last solo album he put out, he produced the entire album. Marv is ridiculous with the production. Yeah, you know, he's always with. I think he has a podcast right now with Mr. Porter, right? So they're really good.
Beast.
Yeah. So they, you know, him rolling with him, I'm sure that's some influence that makes, you know, him an even iller producer.
Shout out to Mr. Porter. He's dope.
Those who are researching him, if you never heard of Marv 1, it's spelled W-O-N. It's Marv, M-A-R-V, W-O-N.
Yeah.
You can find him on social media and all that.
Marvelous, wonderful.
That's what's up.
Big ups to him. What else we got?
Who else we got?
And my partner in rhyme recently, another Plague member. How many Plague members we done shouted out already?
Hit the Plague button.
Yeah. You know, I just put out an EP, but
shout out to the EP. Shout the EP out.
Shout out to the EP I just put out with Bad Seed called The Sixers, but produced by Knots.
Come on, he's so shy. Ladies and gentlemen, my younger brother is super shy. He's super shy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the EP is super dope, right? Get the super dope EP. He don't like me talking about it.
It's called The Sixers. It's called Bad Seed and LR Blitzkrieg. It's produced by Knots entirely. It's got scratches by DJ Eclipse and a couple other people.
Yeah, Eclipse is on there, Tone Spliff is on there, PH is on there, Planet Asia is on there. We got some remix joints coming. Pumpkinhead is on there. I think I said that already, PH.
MCMIreport.com. Click on music and you'll find it.
You'll find it.
But just even though that just came out, Bad Seed has put out 2 projects since, and I wanted to talk about the newest one that he put out called Get Home Safe, which is a fire album.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger.
There's lots of dope stuff on there. Make sure you check that out. I am also on one song on that joint called Woolworth, and that one is me, Bad Seed, Shabam Sadiq, Punchline, and AL Skills. So we went back to the old Lyricist Lounge cats, and just like we just rapped.
Check the description for links to all the music that we're talking about today.
I've been walking around. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Shout out to Bad Seed. Shout out to Bad Seed.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, you had a joint you wanted to talk about today for new music.
So I'm just like online, and I'm just checking out things, and I see. You know how you got these stars, these kid stars that grow up and they like controversial because they just do some crazy antics. There's this one named Orlando Brown. Do y'all know Orlando Brown?
I mean, I've seen Orlando Brown videos of him, profusely sweating and talking crazy about Raven Simone. Is that her name?
Yeah, man. And just
I've seen some things.
Huh. I
So I
haven't
see
seen
some
it.
things. So I saw that he had a new video, a rap video out, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, get out of here. You know me, I'm like, get out of here. And I just clicked on it because just out of interest. And the joint wasn't bad. The beat was banging. I was
Yeah.
like, and he had
Yeah.
flow, right? I think it's called Crime Don't Pay.
Okay.
So shout out to Orlando Brown.
Sure. Okay. If you
That's
say
dope.
so.
And
I don't know.
no, I
The
heard
beat
it.
is
It's dope.
fire.
It's dope.
The beat
I
is
Nah.
didn't.
fire.
Nah, I listened to it. It's it's definitely surprising from what we've seen of him,
Right,
and
right.
some of the other songs that I've seen him make that were like
So
super
I had no
basuda.
reference. I didn't see any of that those other videos. So I
Mm.
just Keith just told me about the song. I went and checked it out. I was like, it's
Right,
dope. I
right,
just
right.
saw it as a
Yeah,
dope.
so like, I don't even know his other music. I just know that he's just been out there. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I
and
mean,
then it, mhm.
hopefully the reason that this is good is that he is no longer on the narcotics. So
You think
and
he was taking narcotics?
I don't know, it's possible, but but if he makes music like this when he's not on drugs, then I hope he stays drug free.
Yeah.
Eh?
All right, yes. Shout out to Drug
Eh?
Free. Shout out to Drug Free.
Drug free.
Speaking of rappers who are on drugs,
right.
Segue into the next
Drug
thing.
Free.
Motherfucker. You
What
can't
album?
get no
What album was that?
money from me.
Don't give it up. Type it in. Type it in.
Okay, what album that was on?
Yeah,
Don't even say who it was. Don't say that because you
Oh,
give
yeah,
it away.
you know who that was.
Mister, can I
Can
have $5
so I can get something to eat?
Everybody all together, ready?
Hell no, motherfucker. You can't get no money from me.
And then he went up. Like he took it up to the acapella,
Yeah,
the falsetto.
man.
All right. If you know that, put it in the comments and you will win a reply from us three. We'll go
Word.
Yo, I
Say
got
it.
one more.
Yo, they'll probably say, good job.
I got one more, right?
All right, go ahead. I know what you're going to do. Go ahead.
No, not from that. It's
No, I know what you're going to I know it's one of two. Go ahead. Watch. I'm going to tell you.
no.
see.
I was gonna say another artist. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
No Name.
Okay. Yeah.
No Name. And
She put something out?
She has something out and it's really dope. Rainforest is the name of the joint. And it's she's heavy.
She's introspective, thought provoking.
You know
when
what I'm
she
saying?
does put something out, it's like that. She's not very what's the word? She doesn't put out stuff very often. It's
Right.
like it's like when I feel something. No, when I feel something, I'll put something out. Or when I gotta respond to somebody for saying something to me, I'll put something out. J. Cole.
Same time. You're a jinx.
Word.
So she's
man.
She's got that single, and I think the album is called Telephone. With an
I don't
F,
know. I
with
don't
a
even
PH.
know.
Telephone,
I don't even know if
F
it's
on
from my album. I just knew that I just heard about
Right.
the I was online and I was going through some stuff and I came across it.
Well, her Tiny Desk concert on NPR Music got 4.3 million views
That's
4
what's up.
years ago. So that's
That's
crazy.
what's up. Yeah, that was
'Cause
like
this
4
single
years
is
ago.
like in the hundreds of thousands right now, and
That's what's up.
but
Good for
that's
her.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like
Yeah.
like very like spoken word. She's like that. I love that niche. She's like dope with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take us out of new music with a quick shout out to RA the Rugged Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Similar
yeah.
to like Logic, he just had a rhyme on a Busta Rhymes beat. So RA took the song Montero by Lil Nas X, which we don't care about, none of that controversy. We're not even talking about that today. What he did is he was like, well, look, that's actually I could flip that track. Let me get the beat. So he took the entire instrumental. He
Right.
made a full song over it, but he's like, this is what I would have put on that beat, He sang
Right.
chorus. I don't know if he had someone else singing, but he's got choruses and sub choruses and verses and everything. It's structured like a song. It's not a freestyle like Logic just put on a beat and rhymed for a minute, but this is like he remade It's kind of like a remix of Montero, and it's fire in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Now, RA has a great sense of humor, and a lot of times he does remakes and just pokes fun at stuff. And so sometimes it's all about he's just got a funny idea, but he's lyrically going in on this as well. Like he's really
he did his thing. Shout out to him. He just last night just dropped something with Inspector Deck.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's called check that out. It's dope. It's called EKNY.
Yo,
Deck is on it. Timbo King is on it. It's pretty
I got
dope.
an Inspector Deck statue coming. It's fire. Yeah. I don't
see
know if
the
y'all can see.
preview?
How big is it? Is
Let's
it
see
like
the preview.
like a
Let's see the
model? Like
preview.
It's probably more like
That's
12 inches. What do you mean see a
wow.
preview? I don't have it.
How do you know how you know? Did you see it
Oh
already?
yeah, we could put it on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
we can put it on the screen. So this guy that I buy these statues from, he did one of Sean Price. He did one of Raekwon. He did Method Man. I got two of them behind me. I can go get them if you want. But
you can see him though.
Yeah. I got the Sean Price right there with the Infinity Gauntlet on. I got Raekwon in the that's the Killer B version because he's done 3 Wu-Tang members so far. He's done Raekwon, Ghostface. No, he's done. Wait, yeah, he did Raekwon. He did Ghostface. He did Method Man. I missed out on that one because it sold out so fast. And now he has Inspector Deck coming, right? And I got the Inspector Deck coming, and he's riding on top of a bomb, right? So you know, a bomb atomically. So an atomic bomb. He's like standing on top of an atomic bomb. He's like a bomb atomically. Socrates philosophies, right? And then he comes with an extra arm. The arms like magnetically come off, and he comes with another arm. It's a Spider-Man arm, right? Because you remember swing it to your tail like neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, it's the details that he puts into these things. Like my Raekwon. It's glaciers of ice, right? Like on the buildings under him, and his arm is like frozen, and he has a butcher knife because he's the chef, right? But then you can take that arm off and put another arm on where he's got he's got the purple tape in his hand, right? The name of the company is Concrete Jungle. And the guy's name is I don't want to
because that's real creative because it's easy. You could just take any artist and just be like, oh, I made an action figure, but like that's super creative. All these ideas.
That's dope, man.
His Instagram is S Cartasio. His last name is Cartasio.
Cool. We'll throw that in the description.
And a crazy thing that he's doing now for his latest few releases is, you know, he does 3D imaging when he's building the figures, right? Well, what he does limited edition NFTs of it. So it's a digital representation of the actual figure, and it turns, you know, so you can now buy an NFT, a limited edition NFT of any of the figures that he puts out.
That's dope.
Super dope.
Did you talk to D-Stroy on his show about any of your collective?
Yeah, I've done in the first season of Show Off Your Gems I was on, and I went all over my studio and showed him stuff, but I'll probably go back on soon because I got a lot more stuff since then.
Shout out to D-Stroy.
Shout out to D-Stroy. The letter IDSTROY on social media. And I'm going to put it out there right now. We need to have him on this show as a guest. And what we should do is he comes on this show and he could show us some of his gems and he could ask us about ours and we could do like an MCMI edition and shout out his show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's actually got a contest coming up. If you go to his Instagram, and you'll see you can win a trip. I believe it is to Arizona for the 1-year anniversary of Show Off Your Gems, and Supernat's going to be there. Who else? Lord Finesse is going to be there. Bunch of really dope people. So it's very easy to enter the contest. I think you just go on his page and you have to follow a couple things, and he'll allow you to enter to win a trip to hang out with him and all of these really dope MCs and DJs for the anniversary of Show Off Your Gems. Every weekday on iDestroy on Instagram Live, you can even if you have gems, if you have collectibles, whether they be musical collectibles, wrestling collectibles, you know, Funko Pops, comic books,
anything.
Whatever it is. He has a lot of super big guests, but he also allows the general public, if you're a collector of something, to come on and show off your gems. It's a really fun show.
So we are now going to enter the MCMI war zone. And,
Pure, pure, pure. We gotta have some music for that. We gotta have some music for that.
So, before we talk about the specific people who are doing verses against each other, so far since they started, what is a versus that stood out for you, or what was your favorite verses?
I don't think that my favorite was a hip hop versus.
Okay.
I want to say maybe Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. That one was a lot of fun.
Dope.
Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers was dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
But you know what? I was super engaged for the Snoop DMX.
Okay.
I really was like entertained. I was like, yeah, just hearing those joints again. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Now the last one that they just did on March 20th was Raekwon the Chef versus Ghostface Killer. Ray Ghost.
Right.
The two brothers, the buddies, they always do albums together and feature on each other's stuff. Wu-Tang members, right? Head to head. What did you guys think of that? Who did you have beforehand? Who did you think was going to win?
I would have automatically given it to Ghost because Ghost's catalog is longer, and a lot of the albums that he's put out were still major backed, so they had a bigger, presence.
More commercial range.
They had a bigger presence, whereas Raekwon has a smaller catalog. And a lot of the stuff that he put out later was independent, so might not have been received as big as a Ghostface.
Plus, a lot of the joints that were big for Ray, Ghost
has Ghost on them, right?
And that's not Ghost's case. Ghost has his own joints, and he's got joints with Ray, and he's got joints with other folks.
Yeah.
Do they both get to pull joints that have each other on them? Do they avoid all joints that have each other on them? I wondered beforehand how that was going to play out. Who do you think won? Did you guys watch that one?
I watched it. Yeah, I don't think
did it go that way, or did it not?
Those two have a very similar vibe. I won't say they have a similar sound, but they have a similar vibe. So going from one to the other, it didn't seem so much like. I think it was all about selection, right? Like what song you put against what song. And for a while it was neck and neck, I think. And then at the end it seemed like, for me, this is just for me, it seemed like Raekwon was still wanted to win the battle. Like he was like playing the versus game. And it seemed like to me, Ghostface at the very end only played his most super commercial songs that I didn't necessarily want to hear, and it seemed like he was making sure that he got those songs off so that his streaming numbers went up, because everybody knows when you do a versus, after the versus is over, your streaming numbers go through the roof, right? So I think that Ghostface was playing it to the point where, like, I don't care about winning. We're both great. This is my brother. That doesn't matter at this point in this game. But I want to make sure that I get these streaming numbers off. So he played the super commercial joints that I'm like, I could take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I want to hear from you right now. I want to hear like bars. I want to hear those gritty songs, those super tough songs. And Raekwon was still playing those at the end. So at the end, when I thought Raekwon was losing, he kind of took off a little bit. Yeah, I think he might have edged him out for me.
When Ray played 10 bricks. That's a Dilla joint.
Okay.
I mean, Ghost is on it, but it's a Ray song. When he played that, I was like, yeah, okay. Right. There's nothing, for me, that's the hardest one.
I have a question for y'all. For the verses, first of all, do they have some kind of winner? Does it go by a vote, or does everyone just have their opinion, like an unjudged rap battle?
Yeah. It's for
unjudged.
For the most part, it's unjudged. They'll put up song for song later on the Versus like Instagram page, and everybody can give their opinions.
Right.
But I don't think there's like nobody says for certain this is who won.
Because when there's artists that are commercial and are real hip hop, like a Ray and Ghost, I wonder, like, did one of them maybe Ghost won in terms of the most number of people that feel that he won because he had songs with a greater range because they were pushed commercially by major labels and all that. And they also had a style that maybe reached more people. But then maybe Ray won on real hip hop because cats just wanted to hear those bangers and they were like, hands down, he crushed.
So Billboard has us actually. Billboard put up their own scorecard
Interesting.
for this.
Cool. We'll throw that up.
And yeah, number 2. Yeah, Tim Bricks came up really early.
Okay.
Let me just scroll to see what they say because they're going joint for joint.
I had written out a scorecard and I don't.
Your own scorecard, like this.
Yeah. As I watched it, I said, "Oh, he got this song, he got that song."
Right.
So a better question now. I mean, we talked about this for a while, but that was the last battle. Let's talk about the battle that is coming up, right?
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win the Redman Method Man battle, and why?
Which is coming up on April 20th.
Yeah.
And it's called How High. And my question is, how high are Red and Meth going to get before that battle?
What do you mean before? During the battle? The whole thing's going to be a cloud of smoke.
Oh, by the way, Billboard has it as a draw.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They got it as a draw.
Goes. All right.
Yeah. That makes sense. It makes total sense. I could see anyone saying one person edged it or saying, yeah, it was, a draw and it was the winner is hip hop, right? Or the listeners.
Yeah.
Now, Red and Meth is very similar because they're also two good friends. They're also people that do records together. And they also have different audiences. I believe Meth is more commercial audience and Redman is more underground hip hop audience, right?
True.
So how is that going to... Is this going to go kind of the same? Is Redman the Raekwon in this battle and Method Man is the Ghost?
I think that the general consensus, no matter what, is going to be that Method Man wins this battle.
I think Redman has more music, but does he have more big hits that are bigger than Method Man's hits?
Method Man is a part of something that transcends hip hop, right? So with Ghost and Ray, they're both part of Wu-Tang, right? But if you think of this, when you think of the symbol of Wu-Tang, a lot of people, right, the layman fan thinks of Method Man. They think of MATHOD Man. They think of Method Man, right?
Yeah, you know what? Because he kind of became the face of Wu-Tang. Like, it's like who got the most light?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the go-to guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think after him, apart from Rizzo, right?
Yeah.
But after him was Ghost.
Yep.
Well, Redman does have his Hit Squad, EPMD
heritage,
beginnings where he came out on their albums and then he became.
But you asked the layman hip hop head, right? Tell me your favorite song off of tell me your favorite Hit Squad song, and I'd be like, what?
What's Hit Squad?
Right.
Even if they're not into the music, they're gonna be like, oh, I know what Wu-Tang is.
Yeah, everybody knows what Wu-Tang.
Banger. Come on now.
But for us hip hop heads, right? I think most hip hop heads are gonna be like looking for Redman to like really get into it. But Redman, sometimes he's such a nice guy. Like he won't go there, right? He won't go for the jugular on a lot of things. Like even when he's doing interviews, I'm like, yo, man, just tell the real story, right? He's like, nah, man, those are my friends and blah blah blah. Everybody's cool. And I'm like, yeah, Red, but do you remember Muddy Waters? Do you remember what you was doing on Muddy Waters?
Right,
because it wasn't all like, yeah, everybody's my friend. It's all friendly back when you did Muddy Waters and Mobb Deep was talking that stuff to you and Keith Murray and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
true that.
So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that they're going to tell good stories. I think they're going to be smoking. I think it's going to be an enjoyable thing to watch. And I hope that Redman doesn't play. See, that's the problem, right? He has to play his most commercial songs to battle anything that Method Man does, and I don't want to hear Redman's most commercial songs. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear FU. I don't want to hear whatever.
The Aguilera joint.
Yeah,
Whatever,
I want to hear I want to hear everything off of Muddy Waters. I want to hear everything off of, you
I
know.
want him to play the Superman Lover #3. I
He's
want to
not.
hear
He's
that.
not.
Right. He's not gonna.
He might play a
Might play
Superman,
one of them.
Superman lover,
Maybe
right?
the first one. The first one probably.
Yeah.
Try to pick one.
But
That's what Versus is. It's not an MC contest. It's not
right.
a lyrical contest or an underground hardest headbanging beat contest. It's a most known, biggest hit commercial record that everybody knows and loves. That became a part of hip hop, legacy or whatever, however you want to word it.
Is there a platform for like not commercial stuff but just banging stuff?
I mean, everybody, there are people who try to do that type of thing. Seed has done 2 of them, I think, on Instagram with Weekly Hip Hop, I think, is it?
I saw one.
People do their own. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody every once in a while will try.
I'm wondering if there's a bigger platform like the Versus platform.
Maybe there'll be one. Maybe MCMI will create one.
MCMI.
The real hip hop Versus, like where we
maybe
not
the
about
heavens
the hits, it's about the dopest joints.
Maybe the heavens will add another 15 hours to a work day so that we can actually do
it. Word. But yo, shout out to Redman. He just dropped a new joint. You haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, he did.
Y'all check it out. It's called 80 Bars.
80 Bars. I didn't check it out yet.
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk about that next show. Listen, if y'all don't agree with anything that we've said or feel we don't know what we're talking about, that's okay, because
if you don't feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Mother you.
But you know what to do with it. You know what to do with that energy. Take it to the comments. We're just gonna argue with you if we don't agree. You could put it in the comments. We're not gonna come to your house and beat you up or nothing. So let us know if you agree or disagree. And if we miss some things, like if there's new music, especially that just came out or is about to come out, and you want to let us know, tell us, shout it out in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. Don't forget to check out our other show, Aight So Boom, on the MCMI Report. So subscribe to the channel so you can catch this and that show.
Yeah.
Aight So Boom was about comic books and movies and series and TV shows, hosted by LR Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, man. Me and my boy, the Marksman, we talk about, comic book shows. Right now we're really getting in deep with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We talk about Invincible, movies like Justice League, all of the Marvel movies. We just talk about a bunch of nerd shit, but don't take me just for a nerd, because I'll beat you up.
Word. You guys go live sometimes and talk about it, and then you have
the
podcast, Aight So Boom. So check that out. Follow all of us on our socials. You can follow me at GMS_MCMI.
Yep, you can follow me at LR_Blitzkrieg everywhere, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
You can follow me at KeithWildChild, and you can follow me also at Levels Band. One word.
Shout out to the Levels Band.
Shout out to Levels Band.
So thanks for watching MCMI and Hip Hop We Trust. I'm GMS.
I'm Blitzkrieg.
And I'm holding my jewels, KeithWildChild.
And that is the MCMI Report. Peace.
Peace.